Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's another edition of Darts Night on Twitch here at the FODL, the first online dart league, the FODL. And I'm your man, Rob, aka Radar, in the booth with you this evening. Should be a good one. Got some doubleheader action coming your way. FODL D followed by FODL A, so it's a DA match, but it doesn't include the law, despite going to the district attorney. Obviously, we're not going to court. Not yet. Not yet, at least. We haven't been sued yet. 20 viewers out there in the chat so far. Thank you. Looking like Yo-Yo Dad, Grubs86, Scooter Magooch, and there's some nerds. Alpine Stranger subscribing with Prime. Subscribe for 8 months. Thank you very much. Todd Mater88 joining the chat as well. Hello, this is good content. Appreciate you joining. Speaking of, we got some great United States darts coming your way, but got to give a shout out to the man Danny Lauby Jr. today in the PDC World Championships. He didn't win against a very stout Ryan Searle. Dude played out of his mind, but was a very impressive showing from the young man in the CDC. One of the top darters here in the United States, so just want to give him a shout. If he happens to be joining the chat, or anybody from the CDC joining the chat, congratulations on an excellent showing in your debut at the Alexandra Palace. But again, we got darts right here for the United States, starting with the players that you can see on your screen. It is going to be the Fireman, throwing out of Richmond, Virginia. Last season, he finished 7th place in the FODL D division with those 22-gram Designa Patriot X darts. Hashtag POW right in the kisser. Going up against Blademouth 5 out of Parker, Colorado. Last season, he finished 5th place in the FODL D division, throwing with the 23-gram Thornton Custom darts. Hashtag LFG. Let's look at the standings here in the FODL D division. The Fireman on top. He has secured auto promotion to FODL C, ladies and gentlemen. He is number 1 in this division, and this actually looks like it's their final, both players' final game week played, or actually no. It's the Fireman's last match to be played. Blademouth 5 will have one more outstanding for Judgment Week. Blademouth 5 currently sitting in 8th place. He's 2 points behind Mac Attack for 7th, but the number he's shooting for is that 6th place spot. He's currently 5 points behind the Music City Madman. However, Music City Madman has yet to play his Game Week 8 matchup either. So both Blademouth and Music City Madman have played 9 matches. The Cleaner has played 10, so Blademouth 5 currently training the Cleaner by 9. So Blade trying to get into the relegation playoffs as opposed to the automatic relegation to FODL E. That's right, creating new divisions with the continued expansion of our league, which means, unfortunately, it's a lot more down than there is up as far as the movement in the promotion and relegation at the end of the fall 2020 season. Looking at the schedule here in Game Week 8, this is the last match to be played in the FODL D division. So what we've got so far, the Cleaner taking Gazpacho to the Cleaners. He took home a 5-1 victory. Magic Wizard taking on Mac Attack and won 5-1 as well. The Law and Dr. Feelgood, that's 5-1. So a lot of 5-1s going on. Darty South 5-1 over Liberty Fires, and then 3-3 for the Adenac and the Fireman. Oh, so I guess this is Game Week 9. I guess I should have looked at that. So let's just scroll on down. We'll pretend like that never happened. We'll go to Game Week 9. So this is the Judgment Week matchup for the Fireman. So there we go. We have actually gotten a couple, another match played in Game Week 9. Magic Wizard over Gazpacho 4-2. So looking at the bonus points for Game Week 9, now that we've got it correct. Haha, we always do things properly here in the FODL. Gazpacho and Magic Wizard both tying with the 5 mark for the highest cricket throw. The best MPR leg has yet to be set, so the minimum for that is 2.0. The fewest dart leg, Magic Wizard threw a 22 darter, as well as a 140 for the highest 501 qualifying throw, and the best checkout was not achieved, minimum 41. Looking at the statistics between these two players, the Fireman, number 29 in the league in cricket, 1.96 MPR. Blademouth 5, 44th at 1.51. Miss percentage, Fireman just a shade under 50% at 49. Blademouth 5 over at 57. Treble and Bull 12% to 7%. And goes on from there. Fireman doing very well in cricket. He's won 85% of his cricket contests. Blade just over half at 56%. Opponent 3-dart averages roughly the same. In 501, Fireman is 40th in the league in average, 39.96. Blademouth 5 is 44th, 36.74. The first 9, though, for the Fireman, over 50. So he's getting off to some good starts, maybe just struggling a little bit on the outer ring. Blademouth 5 getting off to some slower starts, but maybe a little bit more consistent all the way down. Just a matter of whether he's getting shots at double. The ton plus percentages both under 4 for both players. But again, Fireman winning 78%, Blademouth 5 winning 61%. Kicking it over now to the split view screen. The Fireman is the home player. He'll be on the left. Blademouth 5, the visiting player, on the right. Now, if our players are ready to go, we can get this contest underway. Blademouth 5, are you ready?
Ready to go.
Fireman, are you ready?
Ready.
Both of our players are ready, which means it's time to get Darts Night on Twitch started. The Fireman has the darts in hand. Game on!
Shoot him well, man. You as well, brother.
So in the D division, we are playing 6 legs. You see that in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. The first 2 will be of cricket. The last 4 will be 501, and we play all 6. It's not a best-of format here in the FODL in the regular season, as the standings are based on legs 1 and the bonus points. Every leg 1 is worth 2 points. Each bonus point is worth a single point. Fireman getting things started with 4 20s to blaze it. Blademouth 5 starting on the bottom half of the board, going after 19s, where he finds a pair.
2 9s.
Fireman first start was at the 20s, then decided to drop down with his second 2. He gets 2 19s, keeps those straight, so threatening the close of 19s early. It's a bounce out, see ya, and it's a tough dart for Blade to work around with that first one dangling over top that treble bed of the 19s, but it is a single. It was at least a single on the floor as that second one bounced out. Fireman's going to keep the same strategy where he starts at 20. This time he hit it for points, then dropped down, and he got the 19s closed. Blade maybe not realizing that the 19s were already closed on that
last
him turn.
The first part of his turn. I'm just going to mark it a miss. Sorry.
And that will be a no score, so a mental blunder there from Blademouth 5. Can the Fireman punish it? We will see. This is the strategy it seems like he's going to go with. First dart for points, second and third darts for closing. So 1 and 1 once again, single 20. Oh, actually, that second dart was into the 1, so just the single 20 this time for the Fireman. So the 18s are still clean as Blademouth 5 works his way to the upper half of the board.
20.
And it's a single 18 for Blade. Todd Mater 88 got to go. Sad face. Come back and join us another time. Mondays through Thursdays, right around 8 p.m. Eastern. We are here. We are here for you. There's a 5 mark from the Fireman. Single 20, treble 18, single 17 as he moves efficiently around the board and continues to add to his point lead. King Raj 10 saying dang straight, agreeing with the praise for Danny Lobby. SMH 318 joining the chat. Howdy. Chatter 09 saying yo. Not the author's sister joining in. Hey, hey, party people. Single 20 and a single 17 coming in for the Fireman. Grub's using the nice emotes. If you do subscribe to our channel, we do have some emotes that you can use, and they've currently got some holiday themes to them as well. Looks like a nice treble 17 there for Blade. Wasn't sure if it was going to be 4. That second dart was pretty close, but he will get 17 points on the board. Fireman shuts that down immediately. This time, switching it up. First dart was at the 17s, second at the 20s, so wanted to make sure that he got those 17s closed before going back for points, I suppose. Missed with the third after he found tops for 2 20s. 2 16s as Blademouth 5 moving along once again, getting another wedge started. Fireman maybe content with the amount of points that he's got at this point, just going after different wedges. That looks like at least 4 from the Fireman as a single 16, double 16, and he goes over, narrowly misses that treble 15, but he does get 1. It's a 4-mark round again for the Fireman, and he is teetering that MPR just below 3.0, so a very efficient leg from him. Blademouth 5 throwing roughly his average, actually maybe a little bit above his average after that 3 mark in the 15s, but at the moment, just nothing he can do at the Fireman's beck and call. But he blinks a little bit here, just the single 15. He needed 2 to get it closed. Had 3 darts at it, but could not succeed. It's going to give Blade an opportunity to score. He's going to need a big one, and it's just going to be a single narrow miss with that last. But maybe starting to settle in, getting a little bit tighter to the target. Fireman will get that 15s closed with his first dart. He found a stray 15 with the second going after the bull, but it's only going to count for 1. The Blade now left with the center is his only scoring opportunity, and at some point will still need to close 20s, 18s, and 16s. And it's a miss, an empty turn on Blademouth's first visit to the center. Elisard in the chat. Dave Little Toaster's in there as well. Deadhead saying darts and Las Vegas Raider football. What a night. Got to make sure we shout out where the Raiders are from. Las Vegas. And Blade again. That is a beautiful grouping. It's going to count for just 1 stray 20 though. He needs to start getting stuff in the middle to put up a fight because the points are really where he's lacking. Needs to put pressure on the Fireman. Fireman with that 160 to 32 point lead, currently just content to go after the bull and try to get it closed. He needs 2 more to close off this leg. There's a nice bullseye though from Blademouth 5 with the last. Deflected off those 2, dangling in there, barely clinging to the fibers of the board. Grubs 86 throwing in 95 bits. Thank you very much. DJ Mike Hughes subscribing with Prime. Subscribe for 23 months. Thank you very much, DJ Mike Hughes. Rybro Plays 100 bits. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Rybro Plays. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the bits. Much appreciated. It's a miss for Blade. Fireman still looking for 2 to get this thing buttoned up. And it looks like it'll be a stray 20 with the last, but again, he is struggling as well with the center of the board. We've seen his MPR come down from 2.9 down to about 2.1. There looks like another bullseye for Blademouth 5. That's an efficient turn for him. So it is a bullseye. He gets 25 points for the extra bull and a stray 16, so that closes off one of the wedges he needed to get. So that is a useful miss as well as a useful dart on target. This time, Fireman's going to get another stray. It's a stray 18. And now Blade seems to be changing his tune. There's a treble 18. So he's now got the 18s closed as well. Maybe trying to make this one a bull race after seeing the Fireman struggle so much on the bulls and prevent Fireman from getting any more scoring. But he's going to get a bullseye with the last to finish the leg. Game shot and the leg going to the Fireman as he hangs on to that one with a 2.1 MPR. It looked like things were just about to get a little dodgy for him, but he comes back in a big way. Blademouth 5 looking to defend the throw as he'll have darts with the second leg. Game on!
Miss.
And that's going to close off the ones.
Nice start.
But it will be a miss. Since Deadhead brought up Raider football, he won the toss, elected to defer, and Fireman going to receive, and he will get the 20s closed. Got 3 steady singles. That, however, it looks to be a great first dart from Blademouth 5. A treble 20 with the first, so aggressive play there. This time he wanted to prevent Fireman from starting that single 20 move to 19 strategy where he built up such a point lead. It was very aggressive there, but it paid off. But he could not get anything on the bottom half. Fireman with the bounce out. See ya! And it's a miss this time for the Fireman. So each player with a miss here in the early goings, which means we're right back on throw. Blademouth 5 making use of it as he will find 2 19s. And Fireman is going to match with 2 19s, so it's still not closed. Opportunity over to Blade. Blade will get the 19s closed. He'll get a second 19 as well. So this time Blademouth 5, the first one with points on the board. Fireman moving along to 18s now. And he's going next door into the one like we saw earlier from Blade on his first attempt at 20s. He manages to sneak a single into the corner with his final dart. We'll see how Blade wants to go about this. Blade wants to go for points, at least with the first dart. Will he copy Fireman's strategy? It looks like he shall. So single 19 with the first, moves over to 18 with the second where he gets a single. It's not yet closed. Fireman working on it, and now he will have it closed. Can he score some points as well? Looked like some great markers for the treble, but couldn't find it. It was a scooter dart on the last as it goes outside the scoring area. He gets the wedge closed, but not able to put any points on the board. And we're in a level 1 hype train, so people getting hype for this FODL D matchup. Getting squirrely for the darts. We've been watching it all day with the World Championships, and now we are here for the main event, prime time FODL. There's some good darts from Blademouth 5. Looks like it's going to be 5 for 3. Found the treble 18 with the second dart, but it's only going to count for 1 because the wedge already closed at that point. But he does manage a single 17 on the changeover as well. Fireman going to change over to 17s, gets 2 of them to get it started. But Blade already got one in there. Still is the 19s where he can score, currently splitting the difference with the first couple darts. And Blademouth 5 gets 117, so potential opportunity now for the Fireman if he can take advantage. It looks like a loose dart, but it's going to be very useful. It hit the 19s, and there's a single 17, so 119, 117, so a loose dart, but it's effective as it gets the 19s close, so Blade can no longer score on the 19s, but Blade is 1 dart away from closing off the 17s, and he'll find it with the second dart. Moving right along to 16, and the hype train is running. Let's see what got it started. What do you know? DeGrub's 86 gifting subs, as he always does. This one going to Todd Mater 88. DeGrubs has gifted 94 subs in the channel, so thank you very much to Grubs. Pits 2 throwing out 69 biddies, so that's going there too. Pits 2 also gifted a tier 1 sub, and that one went to CL Merlin. So CL Merlin, enjoy the emotes, courtesy of Pits 2. There's 2 16s for Blade, and right now it's a race to get the 16s closed. Fireman does it with his first dart. Can he get enough points to overtake the point lead? He will get 3 16s, but that leaves him just shy with 32 points. Though now critical darts for Blademouth 5. The question being asked, can he answer? He can with the second dart. Will close the 16s off. Moves over to 15s, gets 1 going. Yoke to JMU throwing in 100 bits. To Grubs 86, 1,000 bits. So thank you to Grubs, just making it rain in the chat with gifted subs, bits. DJ Mike Hughes 100 bits. It's all everything's coming along in the chat. 3 15s for the Fireman, and once again he's got a wedge close to score. Fireman's got 3 darts in hand. He needs 2. He got 1. He had a dart in hand for it, but he couldn't find the big 15. So he doesn't get the wedge closed. Fireman now, he will go after 15s. Those darts are very close. It's at least 115. It could be 3. It looked like it's just below. It is 3 15s for the Fireman. He has come on late. Blade looking to make this thing a bull race. But he got to get that 15 first. And he does do it. So he gets the 15s closed, but it takes him all 3 darts dedicated at that single 15 to the bull and bull alone. That's all that's left for these players. That was another bounce out. It looked like see ya, but Fireman able to manage a single bull to get it started. Fireman now needs 2. Blademouth 5 gonna need 5. Oh, and Fireman pointing out it was just the flight that popped off. So the dart did stay in the board. It was just a flight pop. A little desk pop. We're level 2 hype train, so things are going. Not the author's sister. Thanks for the... Oh, because DeGrub's sharing the bits is getting emotes out to everybody. There's another single from Fireman. He is 1 mark away now. Blade needs 5. It's possible with 1 turn. Not going to be possible after that first start, but a better second. There's a bounce out. See ya! Another one on the floor. Tough to work around. And that could be it with the first. It is it with the first. Game shot and the leg to the Fireman. Getting it right inside the right half of the green bit. And Fireman with the sweep of cricket. Fireman's going to have darts in hand going to the 3rd leg of this match. Game on! DeGrub says he finally figured out the password for GIFs on his phone. Go to Jamie says rip your wallet. Pits 2 coming in with another 69 bits. DJ Mike Hughes another 100 bits. So definitely things out there. Yota James, you throwing out some, what looks like a dartboard, maybe an archery board, but it's definitely some bullseye emotes in there. And there's a 21 for Blade Mount 5. If you're of legal drinking age, wherever you happen to be residing and enjoying an adult beverage on this chilly December evening, go ahead and take a drink since 21 is the legal drinking age here in the United States. There's 47 on the comeback from Fireman. A solid 60 dumped in from Blade Mao 5. DJ Mike Hughes says it's the hype target. Pretty sure any woman in the world would say every target is the hype target. But, what do I know? There's a nice 82 from the Fireman. He's going after the 19, so going the Pepe Le route right now. Could also say it's the Slinger route. We've seen him drop down to 19s a lot lately as well. But there's a nice response from Blade. He'll find a treble up top for 85. LSR saying cheers in the chat. I'm a little ashamed to say that I'm not drinking alcohol this evening just because I didn't really feel like it. But there is a breakfast from the Fireman. Single 5, single 20, and a single 1. And as we do here in the FODL, the first online dart league, the FODL, we ask an official breakfast question for the first breakfast of every single match. So, I actually had thought of like 2 or 3 earlier today, and now I can't remember what they were. So, good job, me. And another bounce out. See ya from Blade. So, I don't know if... I know he's recently changed darts to these Thornton Customs. Not sure if that's having any effect on it here. That looks like a 92 from the Fireman. As he got another treble 19 and a slip dart into the 16. So let me see here. I'm pretty sure this is... Yeah, I don't like that question anyway. It sucks. I didn't even ask it, and I'll tell you it sucks. We'll come back to it. I'll get to one in the next leg. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Maybe I should be drinking. Maybe that would help me think of a breakfast question. There's 33 from the Fireman. He leaves himself the big fish. Liberty Fires get the wallet out. There's 60 scored from Blade, so he's hot on the trail. Actually, a little out in front. Fireman does have an opportunity from 170. And it's off. We'll get the end. It's off. Emote out there for all you. That comes courtesy of a Tier 1 sub to our channel. 61 scored from the Fireman. He found tops. Blade Man requires 134. It is off. And it will be 60 scored once again from Blade. Down to 74. Fireman requires 109. That's what looks to be a treble 5 with the first. And we getting some eye rolls in the chat here early, as it's going to be what appears to be 69 scored from the Fireman. Nice. It's a good setup as well, which leaves him on tops, although the route was a little questionable. Blade Mount 5, 74. 18, route 1 of the 54 to leave the Rascal, but he misses a big number. He needs 16. He does clean it up and find the 16 with the last, so he scores 34. He's left with tops as well. Fireman's got 3 clean at it. And it looks like he's got it with the second dart. And he does, just into the corner. Game shot and the leg going to the Fireman as he has 3 on the bounce, on the skip, on the trot, on the run. Blade Mount 5 looking to get it started. It was a good leg, just couldn't complete the doubles. He's got darts in hand. Game on! Lots of eye rolls in this chat. Speaking of in the chat, breakfast question. Kind of like asking the opinion questions where people were getting really heated about, you know, what they liked and disliked. I can't think of a good one off the top of my head right now. So, we're just going to keep it simple. When you're thinking breakfast sausage, you like to do breakfast sausage patties, breakfast sausage links. Let me know patties or links and why. 30 viewers out there, let me know. Looking back at the darts, Blade Mao 5 has gone 41-37. Fireman start off with a 60. Maybe doing some dart repair. A little pause before his turn. Now we see the darts coming in. There's a 41 put in from him. And DeGrub says links because. Author's sister says links, they're just better. Why? Why are they just better? If it's the same sausage, it's the same sausage. I just want to know why. So far we haven't gotten very good descriptions of why. We've gotten a couple answers, but not the why. Not very good whys. Dave Little Toaster says, you know what kind of foods are shaped like D's? The best kind. That's fair. All right. Streamer I Hardly Know Her says all about those girthy links. Dave Little Toaster says links all day. Amy Dillon says patties because they fit better on sandwiches. Hey, we got a good why answer there. That's a good one. DeGrubs 86 links because I said so. I'm not your child. Don't speak to me like that. There's 57 scored for him. Blade Mouth 5. Although considering that you're like single-handedly like paying for all of the Twitch revenue for our stream, I guess I'll allow it. 26, there's another breakfast from the Fireman. So again, links or patties. Blade Mount 5, there's a nice ton 40 for him. As he gets that third one in there dangling, but he does slip it underneath. And that might be 29 from the Fireman, just above that troll. Blade Mount 5, once again, coming out with some good scoring with another 50-plus average. Now getting towards the setup time. Going to need it. There's a good third dart as he scores 69. That's nice. Not the author's sister says, I know why. I don't know why. That's why I would like you to enlighten me. 45 scored from the Fireman. Still outside range. Blade Mount 5 requires 109. Looks to be a good third dart. So that looks like 81 scored, which will leave 28. Fireman well back at 210. He's going to need a good dart to get to a finish. He could get some eye rolls for that one as well. Just 23. Blade Mouth 5 got 6 darts for 28. That's a rough one. He hits the 11, which leaves 17. It's going to be a bust. He wanted the 1 to set up the double 8, but missed. But he will come back to the board on 28. The Fireman still going to get to a finish. He'll be on a finish. How much pressure can he put on Blade? It's going to be 54 scored. He gets down to 133. Blade Mouth 5 requires 28. And that might be a first dart bust. It is. Blade was looking for a split this time, finding the treble 13. That's 39. That's 11 too many, which means his turn is over. Fireman 133 is off. 30 scored, down to 103 now, still above 100. Blade Mouth 5 requires 28.
First dart.
And he'll get it with the first. Game shot and the leg going to Blade Mouth 5 as he takes out the Menser with that one.
Wait, guys, we gotta go back. It's not in. I'm trying to mark my score from back here. Take a look. I'm out. My bad.
And it is outside,
Out. Go back,
so he's got to go back.
RCC, I'm sorry.
Thought he had it, so we will have to hit the back button.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Work through
Hey,
the score.
Fireman, control the match and go to prior leg for me. There's a black dot right here. I'm really sorry. I thought it was my fucking tip, and I have my scoreboard back where I stand.
So we do have a
I
miss.
still have 2 darts in hand.
We do have a miss with the first dart. It's going to have 2 in
And I'm
hand.
going to shoot it back because that's not... Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Thank you. Sorry, Duncan.
Yep. You're good.
So now we're back to the Aki with the second and third
Still
dart for
outside.
Blade Mouth 5. Can't use the marker, goes the wrong way, and he's pushing those darts
Third
over.
dart.
But he will get it. That one surely is in
one
there
there.
with the third. Game shot and the leg officially
Zach, I'm
now
sorry.
to Blade Mouth 5 as he comes in already apologizing to Rascal. I don't even know if he's watching, but it doesn't even matter. And he does get the leg on the board in the end in the same visit as he comes in with the Menser there as he makes it 3-1. Fireman going to have the darts in hand coming back to the board. Game on! And 41 scored coming in for Blade Mouth 5.
Fireman.
Let's see if we've got some more answers to the breakfast question. DJ MyQ says patties if I had to choose, but really I just want the loose sausage to mix into a scramble. Okay. I feel like patties are easier to do that because they're easier to break up as well. Some emotes coming in, some eye rolls. DeGrove saying no harm, no foul because, again, still have 2 darts in hand. Dave Latosh says, "Whoa, Raider, your nickname just clicked for me. Wow, genius, derp." Thoughts. There we go. And there we go. Scrolling down RCC. DeGrubs 86. There is 28 bits for a good hit. Yo to JMU saying, "Dart don't lie." After the conclusion of that leg, there's another breakfast. So patties or links and why? 28 viewers. You have not let me know. Let me know.
Me too.
We'll go back to back on the breakfast. So everybody thinking about sausage. Who isn't? Am I right? Fireman switching back down to the 19 side, and that's going to be 45 scored. So players off to a bit of a slower start. We've been seeing some averages closer to the 50 range the prior couple legs. This one's more in the 40s. Looks like 43, maybe 24 from Blade. It is 43 scored for him. And back-to-back 45s this time from the Fireman, which gets him under 300 at 299. Blade keeping pace, though. There's a nice 60. So he gets under 300 as well. So no big scores yet. The Fireman looking to change that here. 67 scored from the Fireman, finding a treble 19. And going a bit wide of the mark with a couple others. And 33 this time from Blade. The 2 wedge miss over to the 12. This time the Fireman switching back up, going to the top of the board for 20s. And it's going to be 45. So he's scoring 45, whether he's throwing at the top or bottom. So at least consistent with 2 darts in straight and 1 dart left. And Blade, they've been trying to do some math. Looks like 47 scored for Blade Mao 5, so it found the double 5 with that second. Fireman, there's another treble for him, though. 95 scored from the Fireman, and he'll get on to a checkout first, as well as have that checkout be under 100. Blade now looking to join him. Back at 191. Maybe contemplating his final dart. Looked over to the 18, so 24 scored for Blade Mount 5. Did some good math there to leave a finish at 167. But Fireman from 92, and he's going to have 2 darts for double 16. That's inside now to double 8.
Third dart.
And he'll get a 92 finish, does the Fireman. Game shot and the leg, and a big out coming in from the number 1 player in D for a 27 darter. We're going to the final leg of this contest. Blade Mount 5 with darts in hand. Game on. A 41 start from Blade Mount 5. Streamer I hardly know her says, what a checkout. Agree. It was very nicely done. First dart buried into that treble 20. And then inside on the 16. Maybe a little bit scary with that second dart on the double 8. Was pretty close to the 16 side. Could have been an ugly bust potentially, but he did keep it into the corner of that double to get out and get over the line. And also secures the Fireman a match victory at this point. Again, this is the final leg. 4 legs will be enough to win, but we play them all because this leg still worth 2 points. 83 scored from the Fireman. Now Blade looks like he's adopting the drop-down strategy as well. So he'll score 31. Pat 180 says, "Nice, Yota JMU, great finish." And Yota JMU also complimenting. It says, "Good math by Blade too," with some hand clap emotes. Amy Dillon says, "Yeah, go Fireman." I can't tell if that's enthusiastic or if that's more sarcastic, like, yeah, go Fireman. I don't know. Not enough punctuation for me to tell. Actually, it's lacking all punctuation. 45 scored from the Fireman as we come back to this one. And Fireman got 100-point lead thanks to back-to-back 83s. Blade's looking to chip into it here, though. It looks like it'll be 66 scored for Blade Mao 5, so did find a trouble with the first. Couldn't follow it with the second or third. Fireman continuing to attack the throw with another 45, staying out in front. Blade gonna have to give a good chase here down the stretch. And it looks like 43, so Blade can't get the cover shot down, can't keep that one straight. Fireman 219. Some big darts to get to a finish, potentially. That could be another 83. So that first dart into that corner of the treble 19. Fireman loving the bottom half of the board. His third 83 of this leg. Blade, though, he's got another opportunity. There's a nice 85, so he's on a finish as well. It's the biggest one of all at 170, but the Fireman requires 136. And it's off that first dart just below the treble 20. 41 scored for the Fireman, leaves him 95. Blade Mount 5 for the Fish. It looks like it's just above the treble. The second dart's into the 5, so now it's definitely off. But it's a good cover shot for Blade. 82 scored, so he is going to come down the board as well and get under 100. Fireman 95. Looked like he wanted to try to go the bull route, so he hit 6 now at 89. That third dart's very close to that treble 10. If it's in the treble, it'll leave tops, but it's not, so it's going to leave 60. Blade Mount requires 88. So going a little bit up and down there. It looks like 20 scored. The third dart does go into the 7. That one might elicit a few eye rolls. And the Fireman's going to bust with the first dart, this time finding the treble 20 when he doesn't want to. That's 60 scored, but you got to finish on a double. Blade requires 68. One shot for tops. And he goes inside. He scores 48, leaves himself 20. The Fireman requires 60. This is the big number, still looking to get to a finish. He'll have a shot at an out, but not the one that he wanted. Found the treble 15. He's got 10 left.
Third dart.
But he's going to clean it up anyway. Finds the double 5 on the last game shot and the leg, going to the Fireman with the 60 finish. So back-to-back big finishes from the Fireman. 92 followed up by a 60 to take it home 5-1. We're going to go to the interview portion of this match. We're going to go over to Blade first. Blade got off to actually a reasonable start in cricket, but he just came out firing in that first leg. You put up a good fight in the second one. Talk to us about how you felt coming out the gate and how you felt your performance was overall this evening.
I'll preface it with, hats off to Fireman. I know he's been working real hard this season to improve his precision throwing, and 92 checkout, 60 checkout, even with a bust coming from behind in that round where I had a dart at tops. I think every time I had a dart at tops, he finished it the next round. So you played great, Duncan, and you deserve to go to the next level. So great job. In terms of what you asked me, Radar, I thought I played pretty well. Sans, playing to my average in cricket, I played well above my average for most of the legs in 01. And special thank you to a anonymous benefactor who's really good at darts that helped me retool a couple things with my front grip last night that I've been using this season. And thanks to that guy, threw a lot better tonight.
Yeah, and looking at it, I know you've kind of made the dart change recently with those Thornton Customs, and it sounds like you're going through a grip change, maybe from a rear grip to a front grip. So maybe working with a different entry of angle to the dartboard, because we did still see a number of bounce outs from you this evening. Is that just from the work in progress from the grip change, or is that more of the dart change?
You know what it is? It's me needing to have better instincts on this new style of where the darts are landing when I'm actually hitting the wedge. Sometimes I'm throwing them and they're landing above the wire on the treble. I need a switch. That's what it is. I got to get in the habit of knowing when to do it. And there's a channel for that in Slack that I can discuss with guys all the time. So I'll be using that in the off season. Hopefully, for my wife's sake, I just play mediocre against Music City next week, or on Saturday rather, and I can take some time off and just hang out. This season was fun. I kind of battled back and put myself in contention. I don't know if 1 point and a potential bonus here is going to get me anywhere, even with a 3-3 or a split with Music City. So who knows where I land in the playoff picture? Probably not. It sounds like FODL E, here I come, which was predicted from my perspective.
Yeah, well, obviously, have to ask the question. We had the Menser gate go on in that leg you ended up taking home.
God.
So
look, I got to show you guys this dot that tricked me, and I'm really sorry. I apologize. I had a snafu like this with Duncan last season, and I'm so happy this was live tonight because I didn't want to hear it again. There's a little black dot right here, and my dart landed like right here. There's still a hole. I'm putting it in the hole. Literally on the other side of the wire, there's a black hole right here, and there's a hole right here. I swear to freaking God, I hit that first dart, and I was like, oh, that's in, because it was like this. I walk up to pull the dart after I marked it because my board is all the way back. I put my scoreboard back here. I just moved my stuff from over here, trying a new setup to get it off the wall and everything. So long story short, got the third dart. And it's funny because that's exactly what happened the last time I had a little thing with Duncan, and I missed a dart and didn't call it right. So I'm really sorry to everybody that thinks I'm a fraud and that I have no integrity, but I do. And that's why I was really happy this match was cast tonight, because there's no reason for me to cheat in D-League, guys, for what it's worth.
Right, and It is a game. You called it. It's not like you went with it. You called yourself out on it. It is a matter of matching yourself up. So
honest. I wouldn't do that to anybody, especially the best guy in my division, who I respect.
Yeah, it happens. Like we're across the board. I mean,
it's again, not a blurry
going to the PDC. Ryan Surley can't even see where his dart's going. He's got to ask every time because he's got such a bad astigmatism. But
I can count on more than 2 hands the amount of times I'm pretty sure he asked where he was. During the match today.
It happened a lot.
He was asking all over the place. It was bad.
But Blade, you got one more match on the schedule. It's actually your game week 8, and it's going to come up on Saturday, and it is against Music City Madman. So he is the one who's right above you, or essentially that you're chasing down in the standings for that playoff spot. You said, your wife is kind of rooting maybe for you not to get there so that you can have some time off. Maybe you want the time off just to tool it out.
I'm not throwing the match.
Music
City and I usually throw really well against each other, or at least I wouldn't say well in terms of averages, but like we play each other competitively. So it's going to be a fun Saturday match. It'll close out the league season for me before Christmas. And I mean, honestly, Fireman and Music City, I'm so glad I got to close out the season with them. I had 2 really good matches with them last season. I split with both of them 3-3. Obviously, Fireman's improved, and I explained that earlier. But Music City and I, it could be a one-sided beatdown from him, or maybe a 3-3, 4-2, maybe in my direction. We'll see.
We will see. Well, Blade, good luck on Saturday with the final match potentially the final match of your season. I want to say that because you could still work your way in there. And have a safe and happy holiday season, my man. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
Shout out to my man, the Jig, and his little kitty Nin. I'm rooting for you guys tonight. No offense to Rascal. Just want to see the kitty and the Jig take it.
All right, rooting for the Jig, already getting the call out. Now we're going to go over to the Fireman. Had already secured the promotion into. Oh, looks like he dropped out of the call, so making amends on the fly. Sorry, he already had earned promotion into C, so we already knew that was happening. But coming out with a 5-1 victory, talk about your performance this evening. How you felt you played.
I mean, I felt overall I threw really well. I had that one down leg where it seemed like I couldn't hit the side of a barn if I was throwing at it. But, I just really wanted to come out. It was kind of like a personal thing, trying to throw as well as I could. My goal this whole season was to throw over a 40 in 501 and over a 2.0 in cricket. And as you mentioned, leading up to the match, my numbers were just slightly below it. So it was kind of my goal tonight to throw well enough to hopefully raise those numbers a little bit. I think I probably did it in cricket. Or in 501. I'm not so sure about cricket. Didn't have my best night there. But going into this season, I've been practicing a lot since I've been working from home. I just really wanted to kind of hold myself to those goals. Those were just some personal goals. Also, last season, I really needed that win against Plague to be able to make the playoffs. In the podcast and stuff, they had mentioned that I had probably already made the playoffs, and then came out with a 3-3 tie to him, and that kind of made it so that the next match against the Law was a little bit more important, and Law came out and just absolutely dominated that match. So kind of just a personal thing. Nothing against him. We've made amends for the little spat that happened last season. We've been nothing but friendly to each other. We've had great conversations in the Slack. So it was nothing about that. It was mostly just he was kind of the start of what bumped me out of the playoffs last season and motivated me to start working harder. So he threw a great match tonight. But, I mean, I guess just the darts fell my way. I had those 2 big checkouts that really caught me by surprise. So.
Yeah, you definitely did. And, both of you played very well, especially 5-1. Yota JMU saying, me and Fireman have the same goals. Hashtag Team Big Body. So you got that going for you. You got the same goals as the criminal. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You can be the judge of that. But, coming out, you had those big checkouts that seemed to come at critical times. One of them came right after busting the 60 on a 60, but the other one was the 92 in response right after he had gotten his first leg and looked like he was coming down to potentially get another one. He was hot on your trail, but you took out that 92 in 3 clean. So how important was that to really get the momentum back on your side?
I think it helped a lot. That's been an issue I've been having the back end of the season. It's been a longer season than last season, just because we added in those 2 floating game weeks. So obviously the time was the same, but we had a couple more matches. And I just kind of started to burn out the last couple of weeks. And I haven't been able to keep it up in the middle of the match. I've been doing pretty well in cricket, and then it kind of bottoms out in 501 a little bit, and then I managed to sneak it back up right at the very end of the match. So I think that was a huge momentum boost, and it was just what I needed to be able to push through and finish off the match.
Well, as we mentioned, this was the final match for you this season, and you've earned the automatic promotion up into FODL C. We've seen what all the divisions have turned into, and FODL C going to be a tough challenge for you next year. So have you already gotten your goals set for next season in FODL C, and if so, what are they?
Don't get relegated. I texted somebody earlier that I was hoping that this was my last match in FODL D, but we'll see what happens next season. I guess it all depends on how many more people we're adding. I mean, this year or this season, it seems like it's not even fair. Like almost 6 or 4 people from every division are getting relegated. So I mean, it seems almost like it's unfair to a lot of people. So I'm just going to go in and work and try and not get relegated. That's my main goal. I've got some personal goals that I'll figure out a little bit later on after I take a week or 2 off.
Sounds like a good one. Fireman, congratulations on a 5-1 victory. Good luck next season in FODL C. So working your way up the FODL ladder. Have a safe and happy holiday season, my man.
You too, man. Thanks for casting. Great throwing blade, if you're still listening.
No worries. And now we'll go to a quick word from our sponsors. That's right, the FODartleague.com/store, where you can buy some FODL merchandise, represent your favorite online dart league, dress like your favorite players, and show your FODL fandom. But we got one more match on the docket coming up for you, a FODL A division match. Don't go anywhere. More darts when we return here, Darts Night on Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for our second match. Took a little extra time with the setup because we will have some special activity for you with the second match. But first, we got to talk about the FODL Weekly Podcast out there wherever you get your podcast selections, hosted by Pepe Lay and Red Rascal with voice work from Slappy Pappy. So if you are into podcasts and you're into the FODL, then we got the best thing for you, the FODL Weekly Podcast, with recaps of every game week. Speaking of, it is game week 8 here in the FODL A division, and it's going to be the Jig throwing out of Richmond, Virginia. Last season finished 3rd place in the FODL B division with the 23-gram Harrows Dave Chisnell darts, hashtag getting jiggy with it. Going up against Red Rascal, also out of Richmond, Virginia. Last season finished 2nd place in the FODL B division, throwing with the 21-gram Harrows Orbit darts, hashtag Rascal says yes. Looking at the standings here in 501, that's what it looks like as we approach Judgment Week. The Jig and Red Rascal in 11th and 12th places respectively. The Jig in 11th with 56 points. Red Rascal in 12th with 54. They're chasing down the Author and Lasercat. Laser in 10th place with 65 points. The Author with 66. So this is the last outstanding match from Game Week 8. So we will see where it stands at the end of this match. Looking at the schedule again, it's the last match for the game week. Some impressive numbers getting put up across the board. So Left Hand Hooligan won 6-3 over to Grubbs. Dilly Dilly 5-4 over Shenandoah Slinger. King Raj 9-0 whitewash of the Lasercat. Surgeon 6-3 over the Author, and Nooch 6-3 over the Train. And as far as bonus points go, good luck to you. Left Hand Hooligan 9 mark. King Raj and the Nooch both tying with a 3.95 MPR leg. Train and Nooch each throwing a 15-darter this week. Shenandoah Slingers got a 171, and the Nooch with a Shanghai 120 checkout. Looking at the stats for these players, Red Rascal, number 11 in the league in cricket MPR with a 2.34. The Jig is 18th with a 2.13. Both miss percentages, 43%. Treble and bowl, 14% for Red Rascal, 12% for the Jig. But the 5 mark is where it differs, where Red Rascal is making more use out of his trebles. 8.7% 5 marks to just 5.8 for the Jig. However, looking at the legs won, just 28% for Rascal, 17% for the Jig. You see the opponent 3-dart averages well above both players. In the 501 portion, Rascal is 9th in the league with a 53.08. Jig is 14th with a 51.43. First 9, Rascal 58.6, Jig 54.7. Average finish is about the same. Ton plus percentage is about the same. Jig's got a 180. Rascal doesn't yet this season. And the legs won, 40% for the Jig, 33% for Rascal, is once again FODL A, proving to be a beast for both these players who were promoted from the FODL B division last season. We'll go over to the split view. It's not really a split view since we're going to have the player cam. Both these players masked up, distancing appropriately here as they were both in Richmond, able to get some board time at the Rascal's office board. So that's why we're going to see Rascal with a shirt on tonight, because he's still at work. Pretty sure that's the only reason. And this one in the FODL A division, we court for the start, and it looks like Red Rascal has won it. We know both our players are in the same location, so if we're ready to go, we can get it underway. Rascal, are you ready?
Rascal's ready.
Let's get darts in the air. Red Rascal's got the darts in the hand. Game on! Have some other matches going on in the FODL while this one plays. A FODL C matchup between Unholy Cannoli and Uncle Corky. Unholy Cannoli up 2-0, sweeping the cricket portion there. The Law and Mac Attack in a FODL D division matchup. The Law is up 1-0 over Mac Attack, so he took the first leg of cricket. DJ Mike Hughes and Repat in a FODL B division matchup. Repat breaking the throw, up 1-0 over DJ, although DJ out in front in the second leg. Getting back to this one, Rascal's starting off on the 20s. He got 2 with his first visit. Looks like maybe 5 with the second visit. It is 5. Got the treble there with the second. The Jig only opened with a single 19. His second trip now to the board. So getting a look at the player's throws, and it's a 5-mark response from the Jig. 5 19s plugged in from him. So both players going 5 marks with their second visit. And there are 3 steady 18s tossed in by the Rascal, or correction, 19s tossed in by the Rascal, which closes off the 19s for the Jig. Jig on the move now to 18. And he'll get 3 of them. So a good turn there, keeping the pressure on. Going to make Rascal continue to chase and close. The Rascal up to the task at this point, but he misses the third. Couldn't keep the third dart into the big 18, and that'll give the Jig an opportunity now to get more points on the board. In the chat, Adon Mojica 12, 100 bits at the end of last match, so thank you very much, Adon Mojica 12. Jig's going to get 2 18s and a single 20 for 3 more marks. So he gets the point lead, but jumps back over to 20s for the hero dart. Couldn't find it. Rascal with a miss. So he's going to go 2 wide of the mark and then overcorrect with the third. So now it's the Jig with a big opportunity. Can he find the 20s?
I think it was high.
No, it was.
So hard to see.
Hard to see.
It's hard to see, so different lighting situation than both these players are used to, and it could be costly for the Jig. Thought he had the treble 20, but he missed it just high. Red Rascal will punish immediately with 4 20s and the 18 to close after the Jig had moved on to 17s. So a brutal blow to the Jig, but he's going to get the 17s reopened immediately, finding a double, and he gets a single 17 in there as well to get 17 points, so he's trailing by 50.
I need a bigger tablet, huh?
But again, potentially a huge blunder in this first leg.
Just two.
And Rascal will bookend that treble. So he's not able to get the 17s closed. Jig's going to have another opportunity. Slappy Pappy joined the chat saying dual cam sex. You bet. Speaking of Jig in that treble 17. But he can't follow it with anything else. 51 points, though. It gets him out in front by a massive, commanding 1-point lead. Rascal, though, he will get a single 20, and he gets the 17s closed right behind it. He throws with that rapid pace. Quick reload over on Rascal's side. Once again, Jig on the move. Two 16s to get the 16 wedge started. SF Puce in the chat says, Dr. Feelgood is very pleased to see that both participants are masked. Shadow Tilt says, OMG, is that what a follow-through is supposed to look like? Don't know. Not sure which player you're referring to, but there's a miss from Rascal. So Jig, once again, looking to get the 16s working.
Wow.
Author Photo says, yikes, playing with long sleeves rolled up. Jig gets a single, so he gets it closed, but doesn't get any more points.
What was that?
And Rascal pulls the third dart off the board, so just two 16s. We've seen this a couple times now from Rascal. He's had a dart in hand with the last to close off the wedge, but he's missed his target a handful of times. And has given Jig an opportunity, but he can't take it this time. He got the first one in, and then it was Jig's turn to miss two at potentially big numbers to get the wedge closed. And Rascal will get the 16s closed with the first dart this time. And he goes back up to 20, stays there for some points, but he only gets a single. So once again, Jig has been doing well on the initial changeover to get the wedge closed, but then when he's getting opportunities to score, has not been able to take advantage. There's a very close second dart, just two 15s this time for the Jig. Dave Little Toast says, Jiggy is smooth. King Raj says, Jig too snatchy. So, I don't know. I don't know whose opinion you want to listen to, but hey, throw's a throw. We've seen some awkward, we've seen some jank in the Worlds for sure. So if you can make it work and get used to it, we know the Surgeon kind of has. He's janked for years, and he's won the most championships out of everybody. Looks like two 15s for the Jig, so once again gets it closed, gets a mark. It was just a single. Wow. And this time, Rascal does get the 15s closed. He goes back up to the 20s where he will get another single to get more points. Now we'll come over to the Jig. He's looking to make this a bull race.
Good darts.
But he can't do it. He missed his first two attempts, and then he changed to the center with the last, and the Rascal is going to tack on points as he found tops with his first. Looks like a single with his third. Oh, it is just outside. So just the two 20s for Rascal, but now stretching that point lead out. And Jig's going to change it up. Now he's going after the center. There's a useful miss, though, so maybe a good strategy change. The Jig's going to get the 20s closed, which he wanted to do last visit, and get a single bull. So it's a bull race here. Red Rascal needs 3. He'll get a single, so now Rascal needs 2. The Jig is going to need 7 more, or 7 total, so 6 more. There's 2 scored for the Jig, and I take that back. It was, yeah, it's 6 more. So now the Jig needs 4, Rascal needs 2. There's 1. The third stays just outside into the 16s, so Jig will have an opportunity. He's going to need a hat trick and going to need one of them to be a bullseye to finish it on this turn. Now he can get 2 bullseyes. Now he won't be able to finish. Looking for 1 to keep the pressure on, but it's a miss. Nice grouping, but all outside the target. Rascal needs 1. That's just below. Again, the lighting not as good as these players are used to with their home boards, potentially with their light rings. So having to take some steps up, verify the target hit or missed. You see the Rascal moving along the Aki, trying to get around that dart. Back to the jig.
Jesus.
Jig
One.
gets a single, so inching closer. Rascal needs one. Jig still needs three, but Rascal will find it with the first dart. Game shot and the leg to Red Rascal as he is able to hold the throw. Take advantage of the Jig's early mistake where he didn't verify. Could have had a dart where he could have closed the 20s, but Jig's looking to close 20 with darts in hand. Game on. There are three steady single 20s grouped beautifully in for the Jig. Elisard asking, how long has the FODL been going? Want to know more about the history of it, champs, OGs, records, and everything. The FODL has been around for 3 years now? Something like that. Roughly 3 years. As far as champions, Pits 2, the Surgeon, the Criminal, Laser Cat, and King Raj are the only ones who have won titles. Records, believe, forget who had somebody had a leg this season or last season. It's either a 12 dart or a 13 dart leg is the current best leg by any player, and that's by King Raj. It's pretty much the only record we have. I mean, there's been a couple of really high 4 MPRs, but I don't know what the highest in the cricket MPR is. Pits 2 says jank it up. Pits 2 saying this is the 9th season, so I guess it would be just over 2 years? I thought we were a little older than that. So first official season was spring 2018 with the 10-person single division. Okay, so that's where I was getting close. There is the close for the Jig, and it looked like he had gotten 3 20s in there as well as we look back towards the darts here as the Jig's out in front this time. Kill saying Dilly had a 13. DeGrub says 13. So Dilly and King Raj, I guess, both sharing the 13 darter. I was going to say, Pits 2 coming in with the correction. The King Raj does have a 12 darter, so there you go. That's the best. There is 2 17s for the Jig, so he was not able to get it closed. Rascal had started the 17s with 4. So now he's going for points. There's 2 huge darts, it looks like. The treble 17 with the second. And it's the treble 20 with the third. They were verifying it. And Rascal with a 7-mark turn flips the leg on its head here in the middle to late stages. And now the Jig, maybe a little rattled by the 7 marks, going over to 16s, but it's a miss. Now it's Rascal moving over to the 16s, but he can't keep the mojo working after the 7 mark. Drops back down to earth with just a single. And looks like 4 16s from the Jig, getting that second dart in, but couldn't get enough in for the 5 mark. And you may actually have to go back for a second when you get a second there, Jig.
What was it?
It should be 4 16s, not a single 17 and 3 16s. So just the 4 16s. 17s should still be open, Rascal, if you were fixing that. So Rascal doing the score correction because they're sharing the scoreboard tablet. So just the 4 16s, remove the single 17. Now we've got it corrected. And we've got the score looking proper. Rascal's able to get the 16s closed there and get a single 15 on the board as well. Very close first dart, but it's just below the treble, and it's a miss from the Jig, moving to the 15s. So Rascal playing much better in this leg at 3.1 MPR. He's got to check to see if that's in the double. That looks to be just inside into the single. So looking for one more to close it. He'll get 17 points tacked on, as he does get that second dart in there. It's close to the wire, but he does keep it in. So a 3-mark round again for the Rascal. And now it's Jig back to the center. Jig's actually going to continue throwing at 15s. Maybe not realizing that Rascal had him closed. So 3-15 score for the Jig. At least gets it finished, but he kept the third dart there, despite the wedge already being over and done with. Rascal's going to get a single 17, move over to the bullseye, but come up empty. Now Jig, he moves to the center.
1.
He gets one off the last. Good deflection in there. That head asking where they're playing. They're playing in Rascal's office on his workboard. It's a miss coming in from Rascal. A single bull goes in for the Jig, so this time doing a little bit better in the middle. But he's still got points to make up. Rascal's still looking for 3. Rascal's starting to get a little loose as he's working on the bullseyes. So Jig still trying to get that center closed up to start scoring. And those darts will not get that accomplished, as it's a miss this time from the Jig.
Third dart.
And the Rascal will get it. Bullseye and outer ring. Game shot and the leg to Red Rascal as he's going to sweep the cricket portion of the match. Go up 2-0. He will have darts in hand as we move on to 501. Game on!
Hey, can you stop clicking your darts for us? Sorry, that's a reference to Worlds today.
Rascal making a joke. Jig may not have watched the Worlds, may not have understood it. So Rascal just being overly aggressive for no reason, just calling out his opponent. Sportsmanship be damned, I guess. The guy was nice enough to come to your office and throw in person, giving a bunch of shit. There's a good 70, though, from the Jig as he cleans up the treble with his third dart. Looking around the other scores that we have going on, Uncle Corky has got one on the board, but it's 3-1 Unholy Cannoli in that one. Law and Mac Attack, they're in a madhouse struggle, as FODL D is wont to do. It's the first leg of 501. They each took a leg of cricket. That's in round 18. There's a bounce out. See ya! From the Jig. So lucky he's not playing at home. Little kitty may have been targeted by that one. But we'll keep an eye on that match in the upper right-hand corner. See how many darts it takes for that madhouse to get checked out. Repat up 3-0 over DJ Mike Hughes in that FODL B matchup. There's a nice 83. Some chat going on about at times the player cam video lags a little bit, so the darts actually get into the board before you see them get thrown. So some laughter about that. It ends up correcting itself somehow. Pits2 saying they're just throwing from 4 feet, so it gets there faster.
Stop making my man laugh, yo. Right?
And that looks like 24 from the Jig. I can make the Rascal laugh too, because he's easy. Oh, almost had a shot, but it's a 140 from Red Rascal, vaulting him into checkout range all of a sudden. And it's a good 60 in response from the Jig up top. It was Mac Attack getting out of the madhouse. It looked like it was in round 20, so right around 60 darts for that one. Rascal requires 134. It will be off. And it's going to be 31 scored from Red Rascal, still above 100. Jig looking for big darts here. Give Rascal something to think about on that 103. And Jig's going to stay put for 45. Was going to need a treble no matter what he hit to get there after that second dart. Rascal requires 103. One dart for tops.
Third dart.
And he'll find the 103 out. Game shot and the leg going to Red Rascal, taking out a 103 for a 21 darter. Nicely done there from him, as he is 3 on the bounce, on the skip, on the trot. Jig looking to get it going. Game on! Rascal cleans up a 103. Repat taking another leg off of DJ. Now up 4-0, so the whitewash is on there. Uncle Uncle Corky and Uncle Cannoli looking to get over the line. Both players on checkouts there. Pitts 2. Wow. Slap Pappy T 86. Pitts 2 saying Chrome would be so proud. Day Little Toaster with a bunch of kapow emotes. And looks like 43 maybe there from the jig. No, it was 60, so it did stay in.
Come on.
And just a 30 from Red Rascal. So jig plugging along steadily, but it's been Rascal with some of the bigger scoring that's allowed him to take the first leg.
85.
Jig trying to get in on some of that bigger scoring. Found a treble, couldn't keep the third one straight for the ton plus. It's just 31 from Rascal, so not really applying any heat to the jig. Has the throw and has a lead. And it's back-to-back 85 visits for the jig. Trying to run it in this one out. Gets that average up to 69. That's nice. And that looks like 41 from Red Rascal.
Just chugging along.
And that third dart looks like it got over the top, so it is 83 scored for the jig. Third straight visit with the treble has got him onto a finish. Rascal still above 350. And he'll stay above 300. Just 41 scored. The jig requires 143. And this time jig will miss the treble, but still keeps them all straight. 60 scored for the jig. Gets down to 83. Rascal finally going to keep 3 of them straight, and it's 60 scored. The jig, under 100, requires 83. A lot of dart checking having to happen for both players. An unfortunate third dart is going to be 24, scored down to 59. Rascal still 200 points back. Although that looks to be a good ton from him, so that gets onto a finish. But still jig at 59. Gonna go the hard route. And he will leave the madhouse, finding the treble instead of the single. So things getting dicey now maybe for the jig. Red Rascal requires 158, and it's off. But he salvages it with the third dart for a 66, gets down under 100, and Rascal making a late charge, and jig in a precarious position requires 2. And it's just inside for the first dart bust. For the jig, he thought he had it. He called it even. The Rascal now looking for 92.
Ooh, that's the worst dart ever. Hit my mask. 71 left.
And that's going to be 24 scored from Red Rascal. Back to the jig, requiring 2. And that's going to be the next door bust into double 20. Rascal getting another opportunity now from 68. Oh, and he's not going to get a look at double, missing the big number with dart number 2. And it looks like he barely kept that one out of the treble for the third, so he leaves tops. Now some serious pressure. Jig requires 2.
I legit can't see.
And
it's outside.
Outside. Misses inside for the second dart for a bust. Rascal for 40.
That's probably in there.
Look at that.
And he'll find it with the second dart. Game shot and the leg going to Red Rascal, coming from well back to win that one. Jig got himself in trouble on that bust. Rascal 4 in a row now, darts in hand. Game on! 41 scored from Red Rascal. Slap Pappy says brutal. Pits 2 says oh my. King Raj saying he would have busted the 59 on the third dart with the opponent that far back, but that's personal preference there. And 85 being put in from Rascal. Repat another leg off of DJ, now up 5-0. And it's 41 scored from the jig. Mac Attack will take another one off of the law. That match now 3-1. And Uncle Corky had managed another one off of Cannoli, make it 3-2. There's a yo 11 from Red Rascal. Make sure you don your masks and go on to the casino if you dare. That looks to be 9, or 19 rather, from the jig. The treble 5, treble 1.
76.
Oh wow. Yeah, it is hard to see.
Yeah, exactly.
So 76 from the jig.
46.
And 46 scored from Red Rascal, finding a treble 12. So again, from that yo 11, go to the casino, at the pass line on the craps table, and roll 11s until you can no longer roll 11. There's a nice 85 looking in there from the jig. Gets another treble in there. Author FODL says, all right, Jig, time to go on a 5-leg rampage.
Hey, Arthur, shut up.
And 60 scored from Rascal, and Rascal going the Gerwin Price route of talking back to the crowd. And this time will just be 30 scored from the jig. The jig slightly out in front here. He is against the darts, so trying to keep the attack of the throw going. Rascal needing a treble to get to an out. Can't find one there. 45 scored for him. And looks like a 45 response from the jig. So he gets down under 200. But Rascal now threatening to potentially get to a finish as well. And it looks like 43. It could be 59. It is 43, so Rascal's going to leave the big fish there. Jig back at 194.
85.
And it's 85 from the jig. I wasn't even going to bother trying to call it that time because, again, that looked like a treble 1 to me. But there you go. There's the lighting. Rascal requires 170. It's off. Well, it's a good 95 put in from him.
I thought you were done scoring. I thought you were done scoring.
You're good.
Rascal not even giving his counterpart to get time off the Aki. Jig requires 109.
That's so great.
And he's going to be left with 80 after scoring 29. Red Rascal requires 75. Had one dart for tops. Rascal, we see, normally a rhythm player, but each dart having to take a step back. Think about his next target. They have thrown him off a bit. Jig requires 80.
No, yeah, that's not good.
And that is indeed not good, as the jig does say it. It's going to be 62 scored from the jig to leave 18. Rascal requires tops. That's inside now to his namesake, double 10. And he does get it. Game shot and the leg to Red Rascal. He confidently strolled up to that one. I don't know how you could be confident thinking he got anything the way things have been going, but he felt like he got it. And Jig's going to have darts in hand here as he's up 5-0. Game on. This Rascal, I should say, is up 5-0 now, securing the match victory. Again, 9-leg match here. But we play all 9. 45 scored for the jig. On holy cannoli, he had secured a match victory in the meantime against Uncle Corky. He's up 4-2. That C Division match, they play 7 legs. Red Rascal got a match with 45 of his own. And Jig this time only going to manage 30 with his second visit. Pits 2, saying can Rascal find his ruthless side? Not sure I've ever seen a Rascal whitewash. And the sweat was on for Rascal, but it's a 140 for Red Rascal once again. Can't find that third one in the target. And there's a ton response from the Jig. 100 scored, put in from him.
Ooh.
Ooh, the third dart getting a little loose on Rascal that time. Just 41 scored, but thanks to that massive 140, 75 three-dart average through 9. And Jig is going to do it. There is the breakfast. Single 5, single 20, and a single 1 coming in from the Jig. And as we do here in the FODL, we ask an official breakfast question for the first breakfast of every single match, which includes this one. So now I have to think again. Rascal finds another trouble with 70. There's 45 scored. All right. In this time of restaurant, let me rephrase this sentence because that was going to be awful if I tried to continue the way I was going. In this time of restaurants not really being able to be open or being able to go patronize them or show your patronage, I don't know, however you would say that, as the Jig scores 100. What's the last breakfast you've gotten delivered from a restaurant during these COVID times? Or if you haven't gotten a breakfast delivered, what is a place that you would want to get breakfast delivered from? 32 viewers out there, let me know in the chat. Support local business, 32 viewers. It's rough times out there. DJ was able to get a leg off of repat, so the whitewash is off there. Red Rascal looking to keep it on here, requires 115. Not sure. Let's get all the eye rolls in the world going in the chat here.
That's fair.
That looks to be 87 scored from Red Rascal, pending he found that treble. So it'll leave 28. Not sure what the route was there, but Jig requires 95. Can't find the treble 20 to leave double 8.
I didn't.
And he'll go. Not sure where that third dart was destined for.
Let's see, 32 scored.
Rascal requires the Menser.
Wow.
And he won't be able to get over this one as he misses into the 9 with the second. Does clean up the 3 for 12, scored down to 16. Jig requires 63. Jig will have 1 for tops.
That's so off.
And
30
that
left.
was less than close, but it did stay into the double 5, so it'll leave 30. Red Rascal requires 16. Inside double 4. And bust with the second dart into 13. As Jig's going to come back to the board looking at 30. Going right after it inside. Now clean up 15, 1 dart for double 4. And it's just outside the wire from the Jig.
Man, can't get anything.
8 remaining. Red Rascal requires 16. It's inside. He's now looking for double 4. And he'll find it with the second dart. Game shot and the leg to Red Rascal. 6 on the trot now, continuing to roll. And he'll come back to the board with darts in hand. Game on! Streamer I Hardly Know Her says the Frost Diner in Warrenton.
Surgical.
There's a little 7 to start things off from Red Rascal. Author Photo says, I've never had breakfast delivered before, but I guess I want that Chick-fil-A secret breakfast platter. King Raj 10 says, John's Restaurant, Mom Pop Shop here in the Falls, $6.50 for a full breakfast platter. Sign me up. Pitts 2 says, would love Chick-fil-A breakfast delivery. Not the Author's Sister says, Billy Jack's delivering breakfast and beverages. That's pretty sweet. Blue Blazer 2302, watching from Germany. Thank you for joining, Blue Blazer 2302. Slinger, Pitts 2, and Elisard all spamming in those crim eye rolls for me. Appreciate that. Fireman says, had lunch/supper deliver brunch a few weeks ago. It was absolutely insane food. I'm assuming that's the name of the restaurant, Lunch Supper.
It is.
Lucier RC says, go to any local diner and get whatever their regional specialty is. Always a winner. Conrad Arts says, sup, Fodel. So joined a little bit late, Kong, but I know he's been adjusting his sleep schedule to watch the Worlds. There's 62 scored from the jig. Slappy Pappy says, Coopertown Diner, First Avenue between 19th and 20th would get the bacon, egg and cheese, coffee, and a
You
peach
can't see my
smoothie.
mouth.
You know.
Streamer I Hardly Know Her says, I get my breakfast from your mom's house every day. I mean, my mom would probably make you breakfast, but she's a nice lady. Pitts 2 saying that Laser and Author are sweating this one out as Rascal making a charge up the standings, although off to a sluggish start in this one. It's a better visit, though, with 60. Scooter Magooch saying, LOL, WTF is this match? DeGrubs86 saying, Rascal believes in his doubles and that Criminal should be taking notes. And 42 scored from the jig, or correction, 45. Not the visit that he wanted, but still, he's well out in front once again. Last time he was in this position, though, he got down to doubles. He missed the big numbers and put himself in the madhouse, which really spelled trouble for him, allowed Rascal to come back. He's looking to at least get the opportunity once again to be out in front for the last. And there's 40 scored from the jig, so he can't quite get to a finish yet from that 218. Going to be left with 178. Looking at the other scores, Mac Attack 4-2 over the Law. That match has concluded. Unholy Cannoli 5-2 over Uncle Corky. That match has now concluded. So the only other match still going on is Repat and DJ Mike Hughes. That one is 5-1 in favor of Repat. As they're towards the end of their second to last leg. Repat's on 20, DJ Mike Hughes on 6. There's 55, so now the jig will get to a finish for 1, 2, 3. And Rascal will get 60, but he's still on the outside looking in. The jig requires 123. And that looks to be 69 scored from the jig. So bouncing back and forth a little bit. Be leaving 54, but still 69. Nice. Rascal, 181. Stepping back from the Aki here with one dart still in hand. And it's not... I mean, it gets to a finish. There's 11. That leaves
Really
170. Jig requires 54. Up 2 for tops. That's inside to the Rascal. Rascal says no, at least for now. Will the jig get another shot at it? Red Rascal requires 170. And it's off. He will not be able to complete the big fish, but it looks like 60 scored. The jig requires 20. Inside double 5. Looks to be just outside, but can he use it as a marker, as a guide? No, pulled well inside into the 5. So
For the
Jig
record, if that's in, I'll let you
having a
have it.
struggle on the doubles
start
once
this
again.
shit.
Red Rascal requires 110. It'll be off now after the first dart missing into the 5. 27 scored for Red Rascal. The Jig requires 5.
Right. Yeah, right.
Congra says,
Good.
holy shit, Lobby took 2 sets off Searle. Was it a good game? Congra, it was a great game, actually. The first set, Lobby looked like he was going to get run, looked a little shook, but he battled back well after that, and it was one of the better matches of the tournament so far this year. There's a beautiful setup from Rascal. Had 2 darts at the double 16, but he couldn't complete it. So 51 scored. The Jig requires 5. There's the one, double 2. Inside to the Madhouse once again. And that's inside for the bust for the Jig. Can't believe it. Can't buy a double right now. Red Rascal requires 32. Inside double 8. Moving on the Aki, trying to get an angle. Can't get it in there. 16 scored for the Rascal. Jig requires 5. And that's a first dart bust into the 20 for the Jig, so can't get another look this time. Rascal 16. There's a bounce out. See ya! Chasing after the Jig's heels, and that could be an 11 to put Rascal on 5 as well. In which case, this leg is going to get very interesting. There's another 1 for the Jig here. And that's got to be in, right? And he's got it! Game shot and the leg to the Jig. You see the thumbs up in the camera, and the whitewash is off. The Jig picks a leg off here, able to get double 2, not letting the double slip through his fingers this time. He's coming back to the board, looking to make it 2 in a row. Game on!
Okay.
And looks like 28 scored, maybe 38 from the Jig. It is 28. Lucy RC says they just kept smashing 140s at each other. Danny got the fake crowd noise in the middle of his double to force the last leg decider. Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. It was DeGrubs86 says it was great pacing. Really should have went the distance. It was, yeah, I mean, if Lobby was able to pick off that leg that Searle won on, it would have, but it was definitely great pacing. We're certainly flying through. And Yota JMU saying Searle and JDZ going to be the same story. Both those players play with some good pace as well. There's a nice ton from the Jig as he finds another treble visit. So we get back to this match, which is going on. That could be an 81, though, from the Rascal to answer. No, it's just 41, so that second dart stayed below. So both players getting off to a better start here. Another competitive leg. 45 dropped in from the Jig. And that looks like a ton scored from Red Rascal, so he is once again applying pressure to the Jig's throw. How will the Jig respond? He responds with a solid 60, but it's not enough to get... Oh, excuse me. It was a 60, but it's not enough to get him into checkout position. Speaking of checkout position, Repat coming in with a big victory over DJ MyQ, 7-1. So Repat dominates DJ for a big victory in FODL B. That's going to have a lot of implications for the rest of the...
Shot.
Haven't had many.
And hopefully we're back. So, looks like Rascal was able to take that second to last leg. We're on the final leg of tonight's match now, as everything in this thing got reset because I had to force close it again, as per usual, because things are great. Thought we had figured this out, but apparently not. So apparently, still having the crash issues. Streamlabs, suck my dick.
Come on.
It's very frustrating.
I'm very frustrated for you.
There's 15 scored for Rascal. He's frustrated for me about Streamlabs. He's probably frustrated about this leg as well. 17 and 15 back to back. So yeah, everybody laughing because the player cards say Lush and Madhouse because again, it goes all the way back to essentially the last thing that was set up. So the last thing that successfully closed, which was the end of the last stream I had last
I
time.
just went like this.
So let me just go ahead and try to change things on the fly, but that seems to be what potentially puts this crashing thing in danger. Is trying to do stuff, because that's what I was trying to do. All I was trying to do was get rid of the other scoreboards, and then it crashed. It just died. It died while I was eliminating the other scoreboards off the screen because I was like, oh, they're all done. I don't need them anymore, so just trying to clean up the view, and nah. Streamlabs is like, nah, man. This is what happened. This is what's happening. You're trying to do stuff? Nah, you can't do stuff. 85 scored from the Jig, so he's out in front once again. He's on a finish. That looks like a good first start from Rascal, trying to get there. 85 in response from Rascal will get him there, down to 160. The Jig requires 126. Interesting route choice here from the Jig. He's gonna leave himself 94 when it's all said and done after scoring 32. What? Oh, it was an 85?
No, it wasn't. What did I actually score?
32.
Okay,
It's
good.
32.
Thank you.
Red Rascal requires 160. It's off.
Can I get off 115, please?
And it's 115 once again
Grim, what
for
is that
Red
route?
Rascal. Jig requires 94.
God damn.
And that'll be 28 scored from the Jig. Red Rascal requires 115. And it's off. And he'll be left with 92 this time as he scores 23. The Jig requires 66. One dart for tops. And it's inside low. Jig gives it a run, but it's inside. Red Rascal requires 92. And that's 27 scored from Red Rascal. A Jig requires 20. The Jig gonna be looking for the Rascal to get another one on the board. And he will find it with the first dart. Game shot and the leg going to
I got some bad
the
news.
Jig as
Yeah,
it gets the Red Rascal.
the only double I can get
Rascal
tonight,
says
so.
yes. And it's a 7-2 final for this one in this A division matchup. So apologies for the stream dropping out there towards the end, but we got it back to see the last leg. We'll get to the interviews now. We're going over to the Jig. Obviously playing on camera for the first time, I believe, as far as having the dual cam set up, and then also playing in an unfamiliar space. He's shaking your head, so apparently you have been on stream. I don't know. I can't remember.
We've done this a couple times before.
All
At
right.
least one.
Well, then what the hell do I know? But you're at least in a new space, and the lighting clearly playing tricks with you. Was that at all a factor as far as just trying to line up and throw your darts as well?
A little bit. I'm not gonna say that was. I mean, like I had a lot of wires on doubles that I thought were in, and had to go up and check them. And then my next start was not even close. So yeah, I mean, a little. I mean, when we were warming up, I was throwing fine. Wasn't a problem. I even remarked to him like I like throwing here or when I throw it home because there's more open space. But yeah, then match time came and it just wasn't quite the same for whatever reason. So I don't know. It's still fun. Still enjoyed it.
Yeah, you can. I mean, it still offers you the opportunity to get in there and play, but the unfortunate thing is it kind of throws off the rhythm when you have to come up and check darts that frequently, and it kind of bit you there in that first cricket leg where you thought you had found the treble 20 and moved on, where you thought you had it closed, and you still had an extra dart in hand when you moved on to 17s, and it was only a single, and he came back immediately with that 7-mark round, I believe, right after that, which pretty much flipped that one, and he was able to ride that to victory. How important was that leg to kind of set the tone for what happened the rest of the way?
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't win another one until like 5 legs later. So yeah, pretty important. I'd say no. I mean, he his first 501 leg was a 21 dart. I mean, he was throwing way better. The second one, he got out to a big league, couldn't double. That's the main thing. I couldn't double. Honestly, that was the main problem. It wasn't the lighting, it wasn't the opponent. I was not necessarily throwing as well as I should. So it's on me more than anything else.
Well, Jig, looking forward to next week, Game Week 9, Judgment Week for you. It's going to get tough.
I think judgment has been passed this week.
You've got Left Hand Hooligan on the docket, as this match didn't necessarily help your chances to get out of that auto promotion or auto relegation area. So what do you need to do next week against Left Hand Hooligan to try to avoid that?
I'm going to come out and kick his ass 9-0.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, this match was pretty much it. This one's set up for whoever's going to be able to get into like the AB promotion relegation playoffs. I mean, my season's done. That's what it amounts to. I played lefty last season. I think I got 1 leg off him. If I get another one off this season, he's throwing even better. I'll be okay with that. It is what it is at this point.
Well, Jig got to be back up in A for a little bit. You know, played reasonably well for the most part. Were competitive in a lot of the matches. Just the score lines didn't really go your way a lot of the time. But congratulations this evening, battling some more difficult conditions. Still able to get 2 legs on the board. Good luck next week, and we'll talk to you a little bit later.
Thanks, man. Thanks for cats. Good shooting, Rascal.
Go over to Rascal, and Rascal has removed the mask and gone with the face shield now. So Rascal coming out, you know, this one was important for both of you guys to try to make up legs, and you were able to take that opportunity as you're able to win 7. How'd you feel about your performance this evening, and how do you feel that sets you up to try to avoid the auto relegation?
You know, I think I needed that one dart that bounced out of the double 8 on the second to last leg. I think that's going to be huge, and we'll see. You know, unfortunately, I hate to win 7-2 over my boy the Jig, who I love and who has saved me more times than not. But I think probably subconsciously when Blade picked Jig knew what the right thing to do was, and he did it.
So maybe collusion there from that one. But Rascal able to get 7, had some big scoring, but, you know, had some times where the scoring left you as well. Had a couple legs where you got off to some pretty slow starts, but you were able to come back, and doubling was really your saving grace this evening. How much was that important, and how confident did you feel on a lot of those doubles? Because there were a couple, I mean, again, we talked about the lights where you couldn't really see it. You were walking up like, you're like, yeah, that's in there. I already know it.
I think the difference with that was my dart has a paper on the end, and I don't think Jig's does. And so I think the shadow makes it a little clearer on mine when it's in versus his. His base of where the tip comes out has a little bit wider base. You're not really sure where it is. Mine, because it's the storm point's a little tapered, so it's a little bit easier to see. You know, I actually throw with a different dart when I'm at work. I've been throwing with the JDZ's Black Cobras, which are a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier. And it's kind of like a training dart, I feel like, because it's when I get switched to my orbits, it's like I'm using the light bat without the weight on it. So doubles felt great tonight. You know, I think Jig and I always love playing in person because we really enjoy being each other's company, and also we want to put on a show. But I definitely have Jig in a away game. I offered to play in his apartment, but I don't think anybody would have fit in his apartment. Yeah, so once he's set up in his new place, I owed him like 3 or 4 away games at his new house, so I promised that I would deliver on that.
Yeah, and again, having a little bit of the home field advantage, even though it's not even your home, it's your work board. But how much did having a little bit of familiarity in that space with the lighting and with that board play to your advantage this evening?
You know, I think that might be a little overstated. I was pretty nervous the entire time. When I came in, the cleaners were in here, and then they kept coming in the doors, and me and Jig were like, what's going on? Not during the match, but during warm-ups, and so I wasn't completely comfortable, and I've definitely obviously more experience on this board than Jig does, so that helps. But it was the first time I've thrown with orbits at this board. Normally my orbits are at my house, and I made a point to go grab them before my apartment, or at my apartment before the match. So certainly it's been 7-2. You know, I probably don't win if we're both at home by that, but Jig's a good enough sport that he decided to put on a show for you good people, and try to put on a little bit of it. The darts didn't quite live up to the show, but I think it was at least interesting to see us throw, and we got a lot of jank comments, which was nice.
Yeah, and looking forward into next week. Again, you picked up 7 big legs here to get back in the conversation to avoid relegation at least, but you got the Nooch on the docket, so still going to be an uphill battle. What do you need to do to get ready for that one? What do you need to do in that one to avoid that auto relegation?
I don't know the numbers. I don't know where. I think Rich was 12 points ahead of me, so maybe I'm right there with him and Laser. I think.
Let's see.
One of them has King Raj, and one of them has someone else really good.
Looking, if this has been updated, Rascal, this match puts you in 9th, so above both of them. You're leading the Author by 2 points and Laser by 3.
Okay.
And Laser
has King Raj.
Laser has Dilly, and Author has King Raj.
So I have to win more legs off Nooch than Author wins off King Raj, and I would imagine that's going to be anywhere between the 3 to 4 leg wins, and winning 3 to 4 legs off Nooch right now is a tall order. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go in with no fear and throw as well as I can. And hopefully King Raj takes care of business against the Offer. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I mean, this is what we love to see in the relegation promotion battles in FODL are the best. And really the relegation battles are almost more fun than the promotion ones because people are throwing the life on the line. I think it makes it a little more interesting. So.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes. Rascal, congratulations, 7-2 victory. And both you guys, if I don't get a chance to talk to you, have a safe holiday season and enjoy the holiday time.
Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas. Jig.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. Stay safe. Have fun with your families if you see them.
Mask up.